So this week we're playing Japan, and we've got a bit of a 6-day turnaround. So the players came back in on Monday, and we always have a meeting on the first day that the players arrive called Set the Tone. So the purpose of this meeting is to sort of bring everyone back on the same page.
We'd have kind of an install session where we can get all our information across, and PSG meetings where it was crammed into our fast day, so it was a little bit of a hybrid this week. So again, the fast day where we'd look at certain things, we obviously including the plays into that. So it's just that short turnaround, getting information out as soon as possible. That's the first thing, is being really clear and concise, and managing our time from that Sunday, Monday into Tuesday is really important. It's a little bit different with a 6-day turnaround.
One of the things we're continuously working on for the past sort of 18 months has been sort of consistency of messaging, language, using sticky words to make sure that we're getting the players to go from club to country much faster. So one of the things that we do in terms of the briefing is we set the day out, we make sure then that the players are getting like a minimum of 4 touch points along the week, just to make sure that the messaging is exactly the same and the game plan is ingrained into their brains. So when they're on the field, they don't have to think and go into their working memory, they can actually just use their long-term memory. So it frees up the working memory then to make better decisions on the field.
Very, very impressive, Joel. Very impressive. In actual fact, if they weren't here, the program probably wouldn't go on. So they told me.
To the fans of Next Level, this is a really special episode. We're going to go deep behind the scenes, go into the brains trust of the English rugby.
We featured on the Next Level a couple of years ago. Lots happened since then. Put weight on, got 10 years older.
I've turned 40, I've got a few more bags, plenty of greys.
Until you look back on them, you don't realise how much has changed. Like, particularly with professional sport, things move so fast. You have to be constantly thinking of the next thing. How can we move things forward? Even look at the squad that we had 2 years ago compared to now. More younger players coming through, which again is different. You know, their experiences of analysis is different to some of the older guys we had before. And I think probably one of the big pushes we've had in the last 2 years, you know, so with the guidance of Eddie, is that he wants us to be more like coaches. So again, that's not just thinking like a coach, but us being more proactive with coming forward with solutions, not just saying this is the information, but actually what are some of the solutions. And we'll be part of some of the discussions around training, and actually how can we use analysis in training, for example, to feed back to coaches.
I assist Richard Cockrell. It sounds really weird calling him Richard Cockrell, doesn't it? Can I call him Cockers? Yeah. Okay. So I assist Cockers with the line out, most predominantly with the opposition line out, so I'll give him different pictures. Also during training then I'll be able to clip things up for Anthony Seibold, one to review with players straight after, because immediate feedback is the best thing. It gives the players opportunity then to let that sink in, but also then in terms of set piece. Sinks is a great example, so within 30 minutes of the session finishing, he wants to be able to review his scrums, for instance. I'll clip them up live, export them straight off the bat and send them over, and then we'll generally have a conversation then about how that has gone.
Scrum, then our line and focus on our goal line.
JC, it's 40-50 disconnected as well. Games are connected, 40-50, that's critical. We've really pushed, giving as much live feedback as possible. With the iPad, we'd have feeds coming in live around the training centre, so that on the iPad we can look at multiple views, and we can actually clip stuff live there and then. When we do the coaches debrief, which is straight after the session, we've actually got clips there ready to go. In our training planning, we'll have targets. We can actually give some objective information live, and feed that back to the coaches there and then. The more you can be like coaches, there's more you can measure really. So like we can actually dig a bit deeper into some of the more subjective analysis pieces. So we're, you know, if our attack coach is asking for an aspect of the game that he wants measured live, that we can do that because we've got a good interpretation of what they're looking at. So again, if they're uncertain of something or they think they saw something, actually we can objectively say, well, yeah, it did happen.
Receives good comms there from Johnny coming across.
The quality of our radios, we've got different channels for different coaches. We can specifically speak to different departments. We're really deliberate about our communication as well and essentially give coaches and players better information.
So Cockers has allowed me to sort of run the opposition lineup, so me and him will collaborate in looking at exactly what it is the team needs. I'll then pick a series of options that I think Japan might run, particularly maybe a defensive system that they might run or the way they may defend our maul, and then I'll basically feed that into the players on the fly and then see how the England pack react. You know, we want them to feel a little bit uncomfortable, so when they're uncomfortable they learn. So by throwing different images that they may not have even seen, so for instance we might put in a maul defence that they may not have seen before because, you know, they think that Japan are going to do this, but I'll throw something different at them because, again, each team has their own analysis team, coaching team, trying to sort of figure out ways on how to stop us from doing what we want to do. So by doing that, again, it comes back to that learning principle. You know, if they experience a little bit of failure, they can learn from it. It then gets logged into their working memory. So therefore then it frees them up in games to be able to make better decisions on the fly.
Joe is a very good analyst first and foremost, but I think what makes Joe a little bit different is that he has, this is not to say that other analysts don't have this, but he has a very good rugby brain, so he's more than just an analyst, he's more than just someone who gives me clips. He, you know, I value his opinion, like he sees things in a slightly different way. It's almost like having another coach to a certain aspect of the games. His value is much more than just the typical analyst value where they cut up what you tell them to cut up. He actually, you know, he forms an opinion and feeds that back, which is invaluable.
One of the things that Eddie's always asking of us is to make sure that we're adding value. I guess like one-to-one relationships are actually quite key for things like that. So, you know, understanding the players and the way they tick. If I use Maro as an example, so I've known him for about 5.5 years now. And, you know, over time, we've had more and more detailed conversations around the line out, and I think there's like sort of a level of trust that gets built up. Even outside of camp, I'll throw him different line-out formations that I've seen or whatnot, and we can have a deeper discussion around rugby because he's a deep thinker. He likes a lot of time to sort of process things. I know the information I give him and the way I give it to him will help him prepare best for a test match.
The start of the week, obviously, it set the tone, is more around Eddie and the coaches, and as the week goes on, it's more directed by the players. The game summary, which is the final meeting the day before the game, the players lead that completely. We just there as a resource. Today was a good example of Marcus, you know, from training this week, what do you want to reinforce with the boys before the game tomorrow?
Just play this clip, Kaz.
You know, and then we'll play the same roles we will with the coaches. You know, can we use footage for that and help them put something together for the meeting?
Just look at the numbers in motion we have at the line.
So I've known Kaz since the age group set up, since I think I was 15, 16, during the junior camps when I was growing up. Again, he put a lot of effort into the detail that we were able to see and the vision that was accessible to us players, and it's invaluable, to be honest, through the week, especially as I've developed through the senior team now. For me, trying to lead the attack, some of his information and some of his footage that he shares with me over coffees in more relaxed environments as well as in the meeting rooms really helps me a lot, and I love working with him.
So what we're going to do now is just test Eddie's radio, make sure the communication within the stadium is working. So Eddie's got like a special switchboard that he uses, so he can speak to any one person at any one time during the game or speak to everyone. So we're just going to do the final test to make sure it's working. so it doesn't go wrong.
Mission accomplished. What we would do, we would set up so that we get in different camera feeds coming through, making sure that our communication systems working, making sure that the stats are coming through live, making sure that the box setup's right. When the players arrive, Eddie will run a squad meeting. Sometimes he just talks and uses the whiteboard, but today he's just going to show some vision that we use at the start of the week. So again, just a reminder back to the game plan, back to the themes that we started.
I'm so excited, boys. Let's see where we can go today, eh? Because we dipped our toe in last week against Argentina. We waited. What a chance now to play it right. Hey? Think about what Singh said last week in the league. You don't get many opportunities, boys. You never know when it's your last one. Fly into this like it's your last, boys. Hey? First 10 minutes, set the time. Let's see what they got.
A game which has taken on far greater import as a consequence of that result from a week ago for England. What do the Brave Blossoms have in store?
Myself and Joe will have different things that we look at during the game. We try and get live data coming in that we can interpret and pass that information on when it's relevant. And it means we can spot the trends of the game as it's going along.
We have a meeting the night before and talk about, you know, the 3 key contests that we think are going to be really important in the first 20 minutes. Make sure we keep a keen eye on them, myself and Kaz and the coaches, and we feed any information into Eddie.
So one of the big things we'll have is, again, it all comes back to communication, that the head coach has got so much going on. You know, how can we be clear and concise in what we're saying? Can we come to Eddie with solutions? And when we're speaking to the assistant coaches, we're reminding them, you know, we come up to the 20-minute mark, he's going to ask you the question, what you think in half time, what players you're going to get to. We can play a role in that as well, and reminding them of some aspects of the game. And again, we're just a resource for coaches to be able to look back at certain things. And the way I see it is you sort of fill in the gaps.
At half time, I guess it varies. Myself and Kaz have different sort of roles in that sort of sense. So Kaz will generally work with the backs, I'll work with the forwards. At times, I've taken in a laptop with all the first half lineouts to take it to the lineout leader so they can have a good look through it. Sometimes they just want a small conversation. Kaz, I know, has taken clips for Martin to show the backs at half time. So again, a lot of it's just generally just trying to show them images to reinforce or maybe small changes that we may need to implement in the second half.
Just quick one, boys. On transition, we're getting quick.
What do you think? Are we excited to go again? Yeah. Defensively, I want to see us flying like we did at the start. Off the ball stuff's going to get us our opportunities. All right? Yes. Off the ball stuff's going to get us our opportunities. Let's be physical.
And the new man Lee gets us back underway. What about Ellis Genso? And he gets over. Left foot there of Farrell, and Porter's after it, and Porter has got there. A second try. He's through his Derns, and his Derns up against Van Portfleet, and eventually the try is scored by the replacement scrum half. The kick pass. Over the top from Stewart. Henry Slade is after it. Matsushima has been found out again. There's a chance here for Smith, and Smith gets his second. forward into touch. The referee blows his whistle for the end of the match, and it's been clinical from the men in white. What a difference 6 days make. It has been a thoroughly professional performance from England.
Of a 6-day turnaround, to go from the attitude that we had last week to this week, brilliant. We've got a proper opportunity this week.
It's my great honour to present this to you. You know, your first cap, massive congratulations. You've added a lot of value.
Sorry, it's not about me. Not yet.
You've added a lot of value. You've been absolute nose in training. This is richly deserved. It's been a pleasure getting to know you. It's been a pleasure playing with you, and I hope this is the first of many more. So massive welcome.
Yeah, boys. Ribs, obviously, especially your first cap, lads. But 50 caps, lady. It's been a pleasure to play with you for a few of them. But I know how much it means to you, how much it means to your family. Obviously, everyone wants to see you, but obviously John and Jay and Megan as well, guys. I know it means a lot to them as well. So, Slady, 50 up, boy, not out one. Yeah, boys. Obviously, we spoke a bit last night, but just to echo that, really. Thanks. I couldn't think of a better group to do this with, and obviously, you dream of getting 1 cap, but to get 50, is nuts. So, thank you guys for everything you've done for me, and obviously the coaching staff, Eddie, and the guys, and everyone else here. Thank you for all your help over the last few years, and what a way to bring it up, boys. Hell of a performance, and cheers.